Hey, we're here with we're with the traveling man himself and the horse that takes over the world. Is that what he said? I forgot what it was that Reporter did. But hey, Pips is here, Salty's here. We're about to look at some bullshit. How you guys doing? Salty, what's up?
Nothing. Work is crazy. Did a live show with Purple Valkyrie talking about some woo woo and some ancient civilizations and stuff. Check that out later after this. But just happy to be here. Hey.
Awesome. Pips, last minute. Thank you for being available, I guess. Glad you could come on.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have no life, so
why do you think I'm doing this? Like, come on. Like, this is all very impromptu. I saw this and then I messaged Salty and I'm like, hey, have you seen this bullshit? And he's like, let's make a video. And then I saw some other bullshit. I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's just go for it. Why not?
it's pretty
Right?
bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's all bad, right? I mean, it's all bad. Like, it sounds like before we get into it too much, I know there's been like, so first, congrats. Daniel's in the chat. So, Daniel, congrats for finding Matt in the woods. Matt is hiding in the woods, like where's Waldo in the thumbnail. So congrats to Daniel. He found nobody could find Matt in the show, but he found Matt in the thumbnail. So congratulations, Daniel. Now Dan, what's up?
Hail.
The real fifth Beatle. Thank you for correcting my spelling because I cannot spell. So thank you, Whisker Fisherman. Good to see you, buddy.
Hail.
Salty is of course here. Ahmad, thank you for being here. Gadfly, new Dragonsworn, how you doing? Jacob is here as well. So yeah, so I found this interesting because I know there's a lot of how do I want to put it? Sort of hope that season 3 is not going to happen. With all the delays for season 2, I know there's been a lot of maybe season 2 is so bad that maybe season 3 won't happen because I can't figure out what to do with season 2. But I think this is now without a doubt 100% there is no way in hell that season 3 is not happening. I don't know.
Agreed.
What do you think? Salty, go ahead first.
Well, when I first started reviewing this show a long time ago, you and I had a bet as to how long this series was going to go. And I said 4 episodes at least. When I started being critical of this, like everyone on this panel, Pips and Steve, the original assertion is that they spent $80 million for 8 episodes of truly mediocre trash tier level looking non-adaptation. And I had people coming into my comments section saying, well, actually, a lot of that money was capital investment in building a studio it was some country in Eastern Europe. I'm not sure where it is. If it's Prague.
Is it Prague? I think it's Prague.
Well, Prague would be expensive as hell. I'll tell you that if that's what they did. But it was Eastern Europe. And so that really what you were seeing on screen was not that $80 million. It would seem to be sunk cost in a studio. Well, the studio seems to have played a role in the really, truly unfortunate Rings of Power, which is not Tolkien any more than Wheel of Time is Robert Jordan. And here we are. Now they've got this studio. They have a show that they had to fortify for 6 months. And we talked about that, how the ratings on Amazon itself were 4.5 stars. It's the best thing ever until one day they weren't. And they're like 2.5 stars. And so somebody wasn't telling the truth. I postulated a theory that this is probably going to go 4 episodes. We have incontrovertible proof that this is going to go at least 3 seasons. It may even go 5. The reason why now, and I said it to you and I'll shut up, is there's absolutely no way anybody's going to pull the plug on anything Rafe Judkins is making. Why? God of War. That's why. This is a sunk cost for Amazon. They don't care. It fills space. No one's going to watch it but God of War. And that's why this thing with Rafe Judkins has to move forward. What do you guys think? Am I crazy?
What do you think, Pips? Go ahead.
I think that I like what you're saying about the Rafe Judkins thing. I hadn't really thought of it that way before. I will say that I think you could see them shuffle him off of Wheel of Prime by saying, we're allowing him to prioritize his fabulous talent on other projects now that Wheel of Time has gotten established. They could come up with some bullshit narrative. We'd all see
That's
through
what
it.
they said. That's what he said already. Sorry. That's what he
Yeah.
said, Pips. Like he's going to hand it off to somebody else.
Yeah. So they could shuffle him away and then cancel Wheel of Prime. And they'd be like, oh, well, without his leadership, it all fell apart. But God of War is going to be great.
Jesus Christ. Pips, do you work for them? That sounds exactly like the press release. Sorry,
you're making some good points. I've always thought that we were going to get at least 3. So I'm agreeing with you there. I'll say it's a Batgirl has proven to us that it is a non-zero probability. Like the show could get Batgirl. Like season 2 could be so terrible that Amazon is just like, burn the bridge, like burn the boats, burn the bridges, burn everything. I don't think it will. I think that we're going to see season 3. I'm just saying it's not. I don't think it's a 0 probability.
Yeah,
there's a
It's fair enough. There's a little bit because we've seen some get completely axed, but it's seeing what they're doing, and I'll get to it's an article. There's a few of them we're going to look at, and I won't like delay it too much, but I think you're both dead on. I mean, Pips, I think you fucking probably you both nailed it. But I think that press release without his leadership, without Reeves' leadership,
Twitter time is already going. They're already
is it? Oh my god! But so I get what you're saying, but I mean, I think that like there is a point where when you start taking land and rebuilding a set you destroyed.
That's the crazy
for next season.
That.
Like, see, this is the thing. That is the thing that is worse about it. Let me just bring up the article. This is the worst part about this whole thing.
Yeah.
While you're bringing it up,
go ahead.
So, what was our bet? I can't remember. What was the over under 5 seasons? So if we get 5 seasons, I owe you a bottle. If we only get 4, or was it between 3?
No, I don't remember. Well, how about we just buy our own bottle and then we each drink it and we cry into it if there's more than 3 seasons of this shit, which there will be. I mean, who loses at the end of the day? Here's something for scope and scale. Listen to the scope and scale. Think about I don't remember. We could just buy.
I don't remember either.
Here's something. So we all thought Wheel of Time was, oh my god, they pissed away $80 million on one season of television, and then along comes The Rings of Power. Depending on what numbers you look at, $500 million, $750 million says, hold my beer. Okay.
Yeah.
Now are we going to get a 3rd season of Rings of Power? I think that's a larger question. This is cheap. This is they don't care with this amount of money. All the money was up front to build the studio. Okay. So that would tell us that there's absolutely no reason for them to improve the effects or the storytelling or the cinematography. They're certainly not blowing the money on screen talent other than oh god, what I always blank her name out. Rose, what the hell is her name?
Rosamund Pike.
The one is Moira Rain. Rosamund Pike. Yeah,
sorry,
and she doesn't get naked.
Rosalind
Pike. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the Moiraine lesbian interracial relationship show season 2. So it's like, dude, all this does is fill space.
Is it?
I think that the sort of hanging chad, if you will, like the outside shot on this is a broad, widespread economic downturn. So like what Amazon laid off like 18,000 employees like a month ago, like stuff completely outside of the Amazon Prime Studios department could cause like Big Daddy Bezos to just be like, you know what? Shut up, you people over there. Are you making me money? No, stop what you're doing.
I mean,
and like that is, I think, the the half court shot on getting this thing canceled is that.
Maybe
I get that. I get it. I want you to be right. I do.
Oh, I think what
I'm concerned. What I'm concerned about again is I think the sunk cost was in the studio building the infrastructure and capital investment for making this show, because again, where did all the money go? We how many shows have we talked about this? It wasn't on screen. It wasn't for the writers. It wasn't for the directors. It wasn't for the effects. It must have just went to that studio. So now it's a sunk cost.
I feel like
it's
that
cheap
argument
to make now.
I feel like that argument is like the Wigs budget. I mean, like we're about to talk about them rebuilding a set that they already built once.
It's funny.
So the sunk cost argument is like
true.
That was a lie. True. They didn't build this studio and build in the cost for next seasons.
Okay, that's fair. All of the money went to building these structures, which I'm sure they burned out again. Let's just be honest about it.
It's the worst part.
So anybody
that hasn't read this article yet or seen this, the reason what we're talking about is they are literally rebuilding Edmonds Field exactly how it was again for season 3. Okay, so just for anybody, so I'm hoping most of the people in chat, it looks like it if all the names are the same. Everybody knows what they did. Episode 1, they destroyed the whole city, the whole town for no reason. It's not book accurate. They didn't have to do it, but they needed to destroy the whole place for their shots, right? So now they've realized, oh shit, we're stupid. We got to use that again. So they're rebuilding the whole thing from the ground up once again for season 3. So where did all the money go? To rebuilding everything twice, to freaking fancy lunches on the beach. I mean, it's like, come on, what the fuck? Go ahead, Pip. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Steve, the question is, do you think that they knew that they were going to have to do this again in season 3, and they're like, shoot,
I think they forgot.
Whatever, we got so much money building in. Do you think that this is changes? Do you think that they're like, Amazon is directing reworks, or they're rewriting things, that this is never supposed to be the story?
What I think is they only read Eye of the World, and then they started reading the books, and they said, oh, shit, we got to go back there. Fuck, we got to rebuild all this shit. And it's got to look the same because, holy shit, why did somebody tell me we go back to Edmonds Field in 2 books? I mean, I know The Great Hunt and Dragon Reborn are the same, but like, nobody said that this happens. How could nobody have told me we go back to Edmonds? Wait, we go back to Edmonds Field 3 times? What? Yeah. No way!
You're not wrong. Here's the thing: is this is a perfect analogy for corporate America. It's a perfect analogy for corporate America, having worked in it for 20 years. I mean, we could sit there and one could say, well, the reason they burned it down is they didn't think they'd get another season. Okay, is that believable? See, I don't believe that. Yeah. I don't believe that because of the amount of money they invested in Prague. Now, wherever the hell it is in Europe. Okay. Yeah. But they also use that same studio, if I remember correctly, for the non-Rings of Power, the non-Tolkien project. Okay, so undoubtedly they're also using it for other things that are going on because it's cheaper over there. It's kind of funny, all these Hollywood leftists that don't want to pay union rates or pay California taxes to make productions, but hey, whatever.
No, it's nothing to do with that. It's all convenience and location.
That's it.
They don't have pretty places in California.
No, or in the Pacific Northwest. Remember when every show was shot in British Columbia because it was cheap
and beautiful, natural beauty and splendor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, stopping in, Dempsey. Just want to say bye. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon. But
hail, Dempsey.
It's just from the
Steve. You're right.
Up. Oh
you're right. The thing is I didn't think it was a very good set. This did not look like what I thought Emmons Field. And again, I don't need to be a purist about every single thing, right? But this, to me, for a whole lot of reasons, was not Emmons Field. Not the least of which is, it looked like a United Nations gender study conference that was taking place somewhere, like in Aspen or something like that, with like a vegan cuisine, and it didn't look like Emmons Field. But then again, so here's the thing. I have been beating everybody about this. This has never been an adaptation of Robert Jordan's world. It never will be. Okay. This is bean flicking, diversity checkboxing, intersectional, whatever. It's a scaffolding. It's a Mylar thin candy wrapper around putrid agenda in mediocre writing. And it's only incidental. You could take these characters, you could change what the name is on it. You could call this Marvel. You could call this Star Wars. You could call this Star Trek. We have yet to get an adaptation of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. This is not an adaptation, and it's not going to get any better based upon what we know about season 2 and season 3. Apparently now they're going to pretend like they're going to take parts of what Perrin's story, although it doesn't even seem like it's going to be Perrin's story. And Steve, you got an article on that.
Well, it's just like, well, and that's the thing. It's like, you're saying Dragon Reborn and all that is in Great Hunter combined. It's like, well, why are you rebuilding Edmund's Field then? Like, that's all happens in a book you're not going to cover.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Emmons Field was the Shadow Rising, which is what they're saying.
Season 3. You're right.
They've always said season 3 was going to be the Shadow Rising. So the timeline for season 3 and this plot makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't a particularly great Emmons Field in the first place. If that was always in the plan, if that was always in like the story arc, which if you don't have a book adaptation for a finished book series, if you don't have your season timeline storyboarded out when you start doing this, I don't understand like what you're even doing. Like I don't know how you got checks made to you. I don't know how anybody hired you. I don't know how that happens. Anyway, I'm moving on from that. It's just too bewildering to even explain.
I think, and I don't know who said it. But I think this goes back to when everybody was overwriting checks for any fantasy IP they could get their hands on when Game of Thrones ended, or when Game of Thrones was popular. Because Amazon overpay for Tolkien? Well, they didn't actually adapt Tolkien. They didn't actually do anything in Middle Earth.
They overpaid for not Tolkien, for sure.
In that, you're not wrong. And now Amazon overpaid for Robert Jordan, but this isn't Robert Jordan's world. These are not Robert Jordan characters. It's not Robert Jordan's story. Is it even Rafe Judkins' story? See, I'm one of those people, call me a conspiracy theorist. I am convinced that before the show was ever made, they were handed a grid of all of the checkboxes they needed to hit, and that this is mandated by our corporate ESG policy. And whatever you do, this has to be in the story. And these people who have this gender and this sex and this sexuality and this color have to be the heroes of the story. Screw the source material. It doesn't matter, because we're here to educate and we're here to redefine the hero's journey. I believe that. I do.
I feel like they hired people who were going to do what they wanted, so that they didn't even have to tell them. Right? Like you don't have to tell Rafe Judkins to make a shitty diversity, inclusion, equity show. Like he was going to do that regardless. That's why you hired him. So I'm not sure that they had to be so heavy-handed about it. They hired the dream team to make shitty, diversity, inclusivity, equity shows. But I feel like we've been stopping Steve on this picture and his article for long enough.
No, keep going.
He's probably playing Zelda. He's probably playing Zelda. It's fine.
Well, I just, if everybody could share this out, because I seem to be being shadow banned a little bit here lately. So, so go ahead and share it out, because please, not that this is the most important stream ever, but we're having some fun and we're calling out some bullshit. And I don't care if you guys are having a good conversation. I'll just sit back here and listen to you guys. I'm enjoying listening to you guys talk. I just find it amazing that these can be. Now, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. If either of you know, I don't feel like they should be building real houses. Couldn't they just be building shells of some, like the Roos? Don't like these are like these are like, look at these structures. These can be lived in. Like
they're spec. You can tell. I was looking at the spacing between the roof joists and the wall studs. This is spec. I mean, you can live in these structures.
They're basically building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses in a fucking bar. It's like, what? Why? Just build a shell.
I have a theory.
I know why. About that. Go ahead. Okay. I want to hear yours.
Pips, go first.
Okay.
No, Pips, you go first.
Mine is a horse's ass theory. So I'll say my theory, and then Salty can come in and give us a real.
No, dude, I want to know. I want to know.
I'm getting on the better shot here, so there's the better shot. So sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, when you get away from sort of a union construction company or a country, and you go to a place where they just have craftspeople who just build shit, it's harder to find somebody who knows how to build it wrong than it is to find somebody who's just like, this is how I build houses. And so you're like, hey, I want you to build houses. And he's like, got it. It'll be like Tree Fitty. And he just starts throwing shit up. And at the end of it, you're like, I didn't need you to tile this. And he was like, sorry.
There's bathrooms and
there's just too much work ethic. The commies from California are just not used to somebody who's just like, you said you wanted a house. You didn't say you wanted a fake house. Like I don't speak bullshit.
Yeah. I think you're onto something there. Maybe there's another side to this, and I think we've reached a point where it is cheaper to use Eastern European labor to build all of these structures than it is to get CGI done in the United States.
I think that's fair.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't. There's none of the decisions that have been made, as you referenced, Steve, relating to burning down the set that obviously somebody didn't realize was pretty key in the books to Perrin's story arc, not to mention a couple of Aes Sedai and the White Cloaks.
Where's the budget organizer at Amazon that goes, wait, didn't we already build this place? And they're like, yeah. Why are we building it again? Because it's back in the story. It's like, well, no, why didn't anybody fucking tell me that? We would have blown the place up. Like, what are you talking about? We blew the place up and we're using it again. Like, where is that person? And then on top of it, is this another sort of like lost art between a certain generation of movie makers or even craftsmen or something, where it's like, okay, because old Hollywood movies got made with good-looking houses that weren't built to spec where you could live out. People were building sets way back when, and they weren't like they were. I doubt they were built like this, and they were definitely built for a much lesser cost. So is that a lost thing that people are like, well, we don't really know how to make it look real without building it all the way like this and spending all the extra money to make it an actual house? Like, I don't know. I mean, you would think it'd be easy. Just paper mache some shit, paste some rocks on there that are real on the outside, and call it done. Like, it doesn't have to have a toilet and working fucking plumbing. Like,
yeah. Daniel asked the question, is the entire season 3 going to be set in Emmons Field? So are they going to shoot inside of these as well? I don't know, but you generally would want to do a half set, or you'd want to do something on a soundstage that would be the interiors for a variety of reasons. It doesn't look like this has power run. That's a whole other thing. When you start, even in Eastern Europe, they're gonna have to follow some local regs on that stuff. And of course, it's all DC instead of AC like we have here.
Sorry, I like Tripp's comment, but thank you, Nerporio. Can't wait for season 2. Y'all are problematic. Yeah, I know, Nerporio. We are
toxic.
Nerporio is on with Angry Canadian a little bit later, so go give him a check out on Angry Canadian's channel. They're looking at Castlevania stuff, so that'll be fun. Yeah. I like Tripp's. Maybe the Trollocs burned down what Moraine didn't destroy. I don't think that's possible because Moraine destroyed everything.
Yeah,
didn't
she burned the big tree? She broke the inn. Yeah. She smashed rocks into all the other houses.
It's true.
Yeah, out of everything she did, she decided to tear every building down and kill them Trollocs.
Which actually reminds me of a point that I want to make here. As you're looking at this picture, shouldn't we be able to see the big tree in the village common thing there? Like,
yeah. Was
the big tree CGI the whole time? Like,
it's gotta be. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. The other part to the other thing to this, and I mean, maybe it's in an article that we're going to look at, is that season 3, again, this is not an adaptation of the works of Robert Jordan in no way, shape, or form. I'm over being angry at this because I recognize that this literally is it's a lie. It is a complete and utter misrepresentation of what's on the title card. Same way that the Rings of Power was, same way that Halo was, same way that Star Trek is, same way that Star Wars. It's all of the same stuff. What is interesting is what we've heard about Perrin's story, where he essentially saves Emmons Field. Now that is going to be apparently given to someone else.
Oh God, I don't know if it's going that far here. Okay, so we'll go to the article because I think what you're talking about, but season 2 will begin with the mangled survivors of Emmons Field celebrating the rebuilding of the town, only for Moraine to return and destroy it again.
I'm wait.
That would
Oh
be
my
so
God.
good. She's just like, she shows up and she's like, nah, just blows that shit up.
I just have to ask, Daniel, are you part of the script writing team? Like,
yeah, I know, right?
That sounds so plausible.
Well, I mean, you are part of the public relations team, Pips. You know, you've got Rafe Judkins' excuse survey already. So
for plausible deniability, I can't acknowledge that I know that Daniel helps write the scripts and I help do the sort of HR or PR stuff. You know, sort of division of labor here.
Okay, so here we go. So let me read this. Well, fans, blah, blah, blah. This is all bullshit. The site is on the same exact spot in a village located in Bohemia in Chechnya. The original set was destroyed during filming as a part of a Trolloc attack in the two rivers.
That would be hilarious. It's in Chechnya.
Yeah, one can hope for a missed landmine. Just gonna say that,
whatever.
You know.
We're about to have war for real in Emmons Fields.
Yeah.
So they used the same place for the root maze of the blight. I didn't know that. So they raised Edmund Fields and put their fake blight there.
What?
Yeah, that was my favorite part of this article. Actually, was how stupid that is. You're like, wait a second. The pictures of this village. There are trees all around here.
Yeah,
you could have just used trees.
You could have spray painted and paper mache live trees.
I mean, the trees actually look dead too. Like, look at the trees. The surrounding area looks better. Looks like a better blight than what they actually made.
I agree.
I mean, to be fair, they could have filmed this in a Walmart parking lot, and it would have been a better blight than
it's true. It's true. Yeah,
especially some Walmarts. We've all been there. Creatures of the blight definitely inhabit.
Well, that's what I said. Ahmad too is I almost guarantee they're gonna raise it again because of all the changes that happen later. So I would not be surprised if this again gets destroyed by white cloaks or something. But oh my God! But then the best part of the article for me, so that I know that is fun, but the best part of the article is this: is the information shed some light on the story we can expect to witness in season 3 and beyond. We have reported previously that Lolita Cackleberry Root, or whatever her name is, Kakabakarakati, Marin Alvear, revealing that her role is likely to become a larger one if and when it reaches season 3. So thank God. Egwin's mom is going to have an expanded role. You know how I feel about this? I feel about the exact same way as learning about Leandrin's dark fucking past. Like, I know, Salty, you said you're done being angry about it. I'm fucking not. I'm still full on ready to be fucking angry about this bullshit. I know, but I respect you, and I wish I could be. I wish I could be beyond angry.
But dude, you and I, we met because of this show. You and I didn't know each other. You were watching me. You were coming on. We were talking, everything like that. And I remember I remember how much hope you had. In the bitterness that you feel, it makes perfect sense. No.
I'm just reading chat. Jim's like, break something.
He's like, grab a keyboard, break something, do it. Do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. But Zach, thank you for 5 months, my man. I have to get resubbed to you. My credit card is got changed, so I gotta go get more memberships for everybody that got done. But thank you. Favorite episode of season 1? Really? I have to. What? You really want me to say what a favorite episode? I have to have a favorite. God,
I mean,
3. I think
who's your favorite serial killer? Who's your favorite serial like?
I think 3 because 3 had had the best Rand Matt work, even though it then ended with the weird dark friend chase and Tom was destroyed. And
but
I think it's 3.
Just how terrible Tom was. I mean,
but I think it's 3, and that's like, wow, like 3 is so bad, but I still think it's 3 because 4 is the Aes Sedai mess, 5 is Steppen mess, 6 is more Aes Sedai mess, 7 is fucking retarded ways, and oh my God, and 8 is just
Agomar, I still think shish kebab. Agomar,
I still think it's 2.
2?
Episode 2 is the high point.
It didn't have the arrogance.
and almost nothing happened for like about an hour of television. like a lot of stupid stuff, and the lines were dumb, and like everything was generally low quality and mildly offensive throughout. But it was like when we were doing the rewatch, like we barely had anything to talk about because just nothing happened. It was just like overhead panoramic scenic shots and like just things like riding off in the distance.
I guess that's true.
It was,
but Shandar Lagoth is so bad. Oh my god. Salt, did you have
compared
a favorite?
with the destruction of lore and
it's so bad. Oh god.
I don't.
It's hard, right? Oh my God.
I've said it many, many times. Within the first 20 seconds of watching episode 1 and the made up dialogue, man hating it's men's fault, stuff by we didn't know yet, the angry lesbian in an interracial lesbian relationship who's not a lesbian, was hating on all men, and it was men's fault that the world was the way that this is. And even though Aes Sedai for thousands of years have been in charge of the world, she's still blaming men, like Biden blaming Trump for what's going on now. Do you know what I mean? It's called displacement, and it's bullshit. And it was at that point when I broke my remote control, and I'm like, we're never going to get an adaptation of Robert Jordan's works, probably ever, because this is not an adaptation. It's not even a bad adaptation. It is not an adaptation of Robert Jordan's world. It's not.
It's
actually
broken stuff gonna wrap it.
Can we pick one of the origin shorts as our favorite episode?
I think that's probably fair because there's one of those is half decent. Dovi's here. Doviande say Tovius again. Sup,
Hail,
nerds.
Dovey.
Been an Asha man for 7 months, my dude. Enjoy that dragon pin, sir. And then I think who was it that called us all racist and homophobes? Oh, are we all racist and homophobes for not loving the show?
No, incels. You forgot incels. We're also incels and Trump-loving Republicans. I got called that in my comment section.
Daniel says good call. Son of Jockster says yes, obviously. So I think that's a resounding yes. So yeah. So thank goodness once again. We are taking not even a third tier character, not even a fourth tier character, a character that is mentioned in passing maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
For being the mother of a main character, main character, one of the mains, I guess, below the big 3. And we're gonna give her a bunch of screen time for some fucking reason.
So she does play a role in Perrin's storyline. If you remember, she's kind of running things because some of the men have been sort of like run out of town. They're hiding from the White Cloaks. So Matt and Tam, or Abel and Tam, excuse me, the Aes Sedai are out in the woods, and she's sort of keeping tabs on that. She helps Loyal and Perrin sort of come into the village and then sneak out to go meet Matt and Tam and Abel. So she's kind of involved, but I would say to your point about tiers of characters, she's right there with Ciane and Ciandra and Selene and all of the Aes Sedai. She's she beats them by a nose, you know?
Yeah. Did we even see that actress in episode 1? I don't remember.
Yeah, she was the one with the weird smile sticking the pitchfork at people.
The applause, and also,
so we know exactly what we're going to get. That was Rand. They stole the glory from Rand because they had to give it to the middle-aged genderqueer women.
And there was also the Moraine Sedai because she saw the ring. That was also Marin Alvear in episode 1.
Oh, not Nasa, who's been a hero of the Horn for 3 months, says put on a tank top and watch Gadar. I don't have Gadar, buddy, but what can I say? So so yes, okay. So she's a little involved, but like, do you really think that is what her expanded role is going to be?
Oh no, obviously not. No, this is going to be the women with the pitchforks on the Trollocs, and that's what's going to happen.
They're going to be special forces. They're going to be special.
Oh yeah, she's gonna head the Edmonds Field army, and
she's the all-girl Pussy Ranger Brigade that is going to
which is
save
such
them.
A shame. The women in Edmonds Field had a good role in the sort of, the scourging of the Shire sort of storyline there in the Two Rivers, right? They were protecting the women and children, or the children specifically, hearkening back to what they did in sort of, Manetheren, right? And then as the battle line started to fail, they started plugging the gaps, and you start seeing women standing next to their husbands as they think they're going to die. They're about to be overwhelmed, and then they get saved by sort of the people from Devon Ride and Watch Hill kind of coming in at the last, right? But like, that was such an emotional and such a well done scene of like fathers and husbands having to essentially say goodbye to their wives and children, and then the reader realizing, as you start to see the women sort of in the battle, that's how the battle is going so poorly, because Perrin is in the thick of it, he's going wild, and all of a sudden you just see that the women are there, and you're like, oh, this is going poorly. And it's such an emotional and like, oh, it's so good, and they're gonna ruin it. They're gonna fucking ruin
it. She's gonna raise the banner of Manetheren by herself, and she's gonna be a wolf sister and teach Perrin everything she needs to know, and all that stuff. Son of Joxer, that's what's even more sad about all of this. Still no season 2 release. They have no idea, and that's why, like, I know there were some holder-ons that were hoping, fingers crossed, that season 2 would never come out, season 3 would never be a thing. But I just, at this point, there's no hope. It's season 3 is going to come out. Maybe I still think I said season 4 is where I think it'll get to for sure. Season 5, oh my god, that'd be sad. But let me get to.
What do you guys think the release dates? What's your guys's,
well, just because, let me get to this real quick, and then we'll talk about that. So because I think that's an interesting question. So Aldan for $10. It's okay, Steve. Balefire at all. Moron just wasn't up to it in season 1. Couldn't even balefire properly. Bah. So yeah, I think. Hold on, I got something for that. Hold on, I got something for that. You ready? Here it comes. Shit. Yeah, I mean, come on, right? Shit. Got our boy Clay Davis chiming in here.
Take this picture real quick, and I want you guys to look at this, and then let's talk about Pip's thing. This, I think, is going to replace the role that Tom filled. I think they're going to that Tom filled in Perrin's life. You know what I mean? In anybody's life, as far as they're going to make it a matriarch. She's going to be the one that tells Perrin what to do. She's going to be the genius, the general of the troops in this field. And we all know why. We just can't say it, can we? Because then we look like assholes. But we all know why.
She's definitely going to replace Abel, right? Because they ruined Abel. Abel is unrecoverable. So like 100%, she slots right into that. That's
perfect.
I mean, you're
100%. Right. It would be the role of anyone who is a male patriarch within the story is going to be replaced by a diverse BIPOC woman. I hope she's bi or genderqueer. I hope she comes out and says that before the show comes out, like Bella Ramsey does. So, but I mean, again, the reason why is because this actress in real life looks this way. That's why the story is moving the way that it is. Somebody prove me wrong. And does that sound terrible? How is that terrible when we've seen it over and over and over and over again? So they can do that. I'm not saying they can't. Just take Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time off the title card. Do whatever you want then.
So real quick, SB, you're not too late. We're just sort of ramping up here, so we're just getting started a little bit. They've built a whole bunch of shit, and I'll reshare it real quick just before we move on to the next thing, because I know, Pips, you said something's got you thinking, so I want you to share. But anybody that just got here, also please share out the stream. I seem to be blacklisted or getting shadow banned, so throw a share, throw it out there for people to see, please. Robert, welcome. Glad you made it. So they're rebuilding Edmonds Field, SB, because they raised it to the ground to build their blight for the end of the season. And now for season 3 explicitly, they are rebuilding the whole city they raised. So everybody can, so when they're done, this time when they leave, a small pack of homeless people can come in here like it's San Francisco and live in these houses they bought, which are going to be fully plumbed because they spared no expense. They're going to have dual showers and steamy hot bathrooms because they're just going to live here. They're not going to go to hotels. These are just going to be homes when they're done with them.
You don't need to have electricity and dual showers and all this other stuff to be appetite or to be interesting for a refugee from San Francisco. You just need to not have a shanty town with needles all over the ground. so like it shelters you from the elements, and there's not like a Hooverville sort of generally around you.
Oh, check you out with the Hooverville. Well, there you go. Nice reference.
I think the craziest thing about the article too is on top of all that, they straight up say they raised it for something they totally did not need to do. They destroyed it just so they could build another set on top of its body. And then they're like, oops, we need that place again. So let's just rebuild it again. So we raise the blight again or whatever they put up for the blight. Yeah. And now they're rebuilding the town. It's like, what the hell is happening here? Who is running this shit?
It's a perfect analogy for socialism and communism.
Like, what the fuck is this? Where are we?
So this is what we saw in season 1. Yeah. Again, if I'm being nitpicky and you guys in chat, please tell me. This is not the way I imagined Emmons feel in the book at all. No. I don't know one person who said, holy shit, they nailed it. They nailed it. Like, this is what they're rebuilding. It looks like Hobbiton, if we're honest about it. It looks like if Hobbiton was in the hood. Okay, this is like the hood Hobbiton. That's what it is.
More on the destroyer of towns that's walking through here. She's just like, I can't wait to destroy this fucking place. Brick by brick, I will destroy it. But I think on top. So
Gadfly Fiction said it before. No thatched roofs, right? That's like just a little detail that would have saved him money. Like. Oh, yeah. Put some fucking straw on the roof.
Well, how many of those houses that's the thing. It's like, how many of the houses did they go in? What? They went in the Wine Spring Inn, right? So why are they building 10 houses?
Like, it's externals. It's got to be because they're going to do a lot of exterior flyover shots to add CG Trollocs. It's got to be what it is. I can't think of anything else. I mean, again, here's the problem. I think everybody on this panel and probably everybody in chat, our cardinal mistake is that we expect that somebody is going to do the source material some minimal amount of justice, and that the reader and the viewer of this show deserves to be respected and to have some of their expectations not subverted. Okay. But what has Rafe Judkins said to us? Over and over and over. If you don't like what I've done by changing the gender, sexuality, orientation of our characters, I'm just going to do it more. Does that sound like somebody who's a showrunner who, 1, gives 1 shit about the source material, 2, gives any care at all to who's actually viewing this, and 3, has any sense of morality or decency? Because to me, it doesn't. He's trolling us at this point. Rafe Judkins is trolling us, and he's laughing all the way to the bank because he gets to do this to the God of War next. Oh, think about that one. You know,
it's going to be a mess. And well, so that's I just found interesting because it sort of ties in with the whole. I always forget her name. Marin, is it Alvear? Fucking Egwin's mom Marin stuff. Alvear. Well, this was reported obviously a few months ago, but I found it interesting because it was underneath all the other articles. Because there's one more article too that's well, half infuriating, half stupid. But so they're reporting on all the news that is the news for this show, right? So these 2 people are cast, right? So I'm like, okay, well, who are these? Who are these characters? Who are these people going to be playing in the cast, right? So. The Vincent Kirschenbaum or whatever his name is, he was in Elizabeth I and he's done a few things, and according to IMDb or whatever, he will be playing a Sun Palace servant. Well, thank fucking God we reported on that. And
go ahead. No,
you go ahead.
Finish your thought. I was going to say, let me guess where this article goes. So this article, if I'm guessing correctly, is intersectionality because it's what it's doing is it's demoting the Caucasian man by making him a servant, right? Now, where do we go with the beautiful actress? What's her role?
Oh, the beautiful actress. Okay, so
we have a guess in the chat.
Oh, do we? Okay, here we go. So let's see. Where are the guesses? Hold on. Did I miss it? Who do we think? Let's just do it. Who do we think Lily Banda is going to be? Okay, where's the guess? Was it your guess?
It's the daughter of Moy Rain and Sawanche because because lesbians can get pregnant.
Where's the guess? Hold on.
Oh, just my comment saying the one on the right looks ideal.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there you go.
Oh, yeah,
right. According to there, yeah. So okay. So Aldan thinks it's Suroth. Okay. Anybody else got a guess? A servant? Yes. Critical character. Some palace servant. Yes, we already got Avienda. So it's not. But Avienda
she looks
similar.
like she would actually be a really good Tuon or Tuan.
Yeah,
or
Tuon. Yeah, I was gonna say, but good Tuon.
They're definitely gonna race swap that one though.
Yeah, so that'd be good, but or
the
any
slave empress
or Sean Chan of some sort, right? Okay, so I'll give you one more. So we're getting a lot of we got Sir
Rand al'Thor. That's Rand al'Thor.
Yeah,
That's Trans Rand in season.
He did go to Ryuden to get a sex change, right? So
that's what I thought.
Okay, Perrin's wife. Damned autocorrect. I think he's trying to say Tuon. I think, which I think would be a good guess and probably good casting. I could buy her as Tuon.
Don't tell me
you have to shave her head, right? Okay, so here we go. Who is the character she is playing? She is playing a recently included credit for Milan.
What?
Who the fuck is Milan, you ask? Oh, it's not anybody that's ever been in the books.
2,600 named characters. We need more.
This is not an adaptation. When we talk about this being race baiting and intersectionality and hitting ESG scores, that's why. Like, there's nobody who's a racist here. There's nobody who hates anybody because of the color of their skin or whatever, all the other bullshit stuff. What we hate is watching people take things that are really important within our culture and within our fandoms and use them to push agendas so that 99% of the focus of the show and the marketing is based upon the ethnicity, sexuality, and political beliefs of the cast people who are put in named roles who don't act like those named roles from the source material. And that's the problem with this show, is there is no redeeming quality in here that you could even call this a bad adaptation of Robert Jordan, because this is not Wheel of Time, like in any way, form whatsoever. You can call it another turning of the wheel. Okay, if you gave this to someone in the 8th grade and they essentially were doing a half-assed what is it called when you rip off other people's work? Plagiarism. This is a half-assed 8th grade level plagiarism by someone who's in SJW. That's Rafe Judkins, in my opinion. That's all he's done. And we're sitting here and we're watching this, and the problem is big corporations like this have bought bullshit like this hook, line, and sinker. Hello, Paramount, Star Trek, I'm looking at you. They don't care what the show is as long as their ESG scores look good. And now we're here going, this sucks, and we're racist.
Yeah. Well, this is what I have to. This is what I have to say to this casting. Yeah, shit. Like, what
it's never gonna get old.
It isn't, and you know what? Like, and you said it. How many characters, right? And we keep hearing over and over and over again. We can't cast all these characters. We can't do this. There's too many characters. Too many characters to get them all right.
There's too much story.
We can't. Too much story. Too many characters. We can't have a cast of hundreds and hundreds on ready. Blah 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 blah. But we can cast now. This is what, 3 brand new characters for sure. I mean, we're giving Mirren Alvear more characters. Who's the new? There's some new freaking Aes Sedai that's mentioned twice for season 2 that's getting a whole freaking storyline. And now we're just making up characters and just like, unless she is right next to the boy toy, whatever his name is, Bobo Frick, that's going into the fucking Sun Palace. Unless she's sitting next to that guy in the Sun Palace being a servant, why the fuck do I care? It's like
it's messaging, Steve. This show is all about messaging. It's not paranoid to say that. It is about the presentation, about look at us and look at how virtuous, or look at who we're casting. And look, we have this guy, we have this person whose sex and who's in the color of their skin we're going to demote. And we're being very virtuous by saying that. And now we've got this other individual, and based upon their gender and the color of their skin, look at like we're making up a whole new character so that we can right the wrongs of the past. I mean, it makes my head kind of explode, you know?
Well,
if you do that, it's not an adaptation. It's not, just like Disney Star Wars was not Star Wars, okay? Like how many times are we going to do this? Okay, I'm out on this. I mean, I am going to review this show, but I'm going to review it technically. I'm going to review it based upon the quality of the script, freestanding from Amazon, from Robert Jordan's work, because we know we are not going to get Robert Jordan.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like Daniel's right. 100. I'm sure Milan is a brilliant combination of multiple characters, helping us condense Robert Jordan's bloated work, and that's probably exactly what it is. Is something like let's combine 3 characters and call it a different name, and then change completely how they'd act, and then boom. We can.
So it's not Robert Jordan's character then.
Oh no, it's none of these are, right. Just like you said,
or Robert Jordan's story. And that's not being a purist. What that is saying, what's the line for you as a fan? When do you reach a point where you're like, I cannot even hate watch this anymore? And I've reached that with virtually everything.
Almost.
Virtually everything.
Virtually everything, but it's I don't know. Part of
we can always go worse though.
Oh,
it will. It'll get a lot worse. Yeah.
Well, and then the last one that all of these happen to be on the one-stop shop of a WOT series website. We have, thankfully, we also have a season 3 director revealed, which is more evidence that season 3 is happening. But thank God that this was the guy that did. Some of you guys probably recognize his name, but thank God this is the guy that directed the last 2 episodes of season 1. He also was very, very proud of the cold opening, Blood in the Snow, or Blood of Snow, or Bloody Snow, or stupid ass fight scene that looked dumb and was dumb
with the pregnant Aiel on the mountain.
Yeah, the pregnant Aiel that's not really an Aiel. She's
no,
she's not really an
gender
Aiel,
studies major, Smith College. That's all it was.
And then so he also I think it. Oh wait, book consult. This is that bitch on So, like how are you a book consultant and you had what has she done like that? Like I
give me a big picture. I need to see what this person. Tripp said something really interesting. What if they didn't actually get all of the rights to Robert Jordan's works? I mean, I think they wrote Harriet
Harriet's
a pretty damn big check. Yeah,
I don't think they have it. There's no way. Like with Brandon Sanderson involved as much. I mean, he's not overly involved, but Harriet's involved.
Is he executive producing for any more seasons? Do you guys know, or was it just the first one?
I'm not sure, to be honest. They keep throwing his name around.
I think they're still listed. I think Harriet and Sanderson are still listed as EPs, but Sanderson made it clear that they even only showed him the script for the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
So like his involvement was his name on the thing. They showed him a script. Probably they showed him enough of the scripts to realize that he was going to shit all over him. And then they were like, stop sending him the cut. Like, stop sending him the scripts.
Or he sent him some notes and they said, nah.
Well, he ignored the notes. I mean, he ignored the notes.
He gave him some notes.
In the same way that Peter Jackson's notes got ignored by the best writing team in fantasy television. Payne and McKay. Of course, the Rings of Power.
So. Oh God, yeah, but wait, who? So yeah, but that's the only thing they've gotten right is right. The names and everything else is that's it. Names and places.
But the Waygates, they ruined.
The Waygates are completely wrong.
They ruined the. I mean, again, it's where is the line between nitpicking and ungrateful and like being rational and real about things? I think that we're being lied to and gaslit. We're being told, oh, this isn't happening. You're just seeing ghosts. This show, there is no discernible Robert Jordan in this show. You have names of places and people, but they don't act, sound, or do things of those people. And if that's the case and the story greatly diverges, then how can you call this an adaptation? It is not even a bad adaptation. It's not, in my opinion.
And this, this chick, Sarah Nakamura, right? That's her name. Is worse. It's probably I don't know. I could almost call her worse than the rest of them because she is supposed to be the fucking book consultant. She's supposed to be the accuracy consultant. She's supposed to be the lore consultant. What the fuck is she doing?
Who is the lore consultant? Remember her? University of Glasgow, the Spanish gender studies major, who was the Tolkien expert. No. For the Rings of Power.
You're talking about Rings of Power, yeah.
I'm talking about, but like, think about
after they
fired what qualified
Shippy?
Her.
Yeah.
What qualified that woman in Glasgow? Oh, she was a lesbian of diversity. That's what made her the Tolkien scholar. Not Shippy, not anybody else who legitimately was probably over the age of 30 or 35 that had experience in the field that would have saw to whatever it is. You notice the age of a lot of these people. And the way that they seem to present themselves doesn't really put out their maturity or someone who's taken seriously. You know what I mean? In a corporate setting. Does that sound shitty? I don't care. But I don't know who this person is. But if she was the lore expert and the person responsible for season 1, then she has catastrophically failed if that was her job. Or was her job to make sure that all the ESG scores were hit?
Well, I think the question is always, and this was the question with so many different things in the last couple of years, is like, is the government, is this company, is this person, is whoever, are they really terrible at their job, or do we not know what their job is? And maybe they're really good at it, right? And we just think their job is something that it's not. And so her job, in my opinion, her job is to provide top cover and to sort of, do some window dressing around the edges, give the veneer of sort of authenticity, have somebody who does know the lore a lot and can interact with fans and people at conventions and stuff like that. And sort of like, oh, look how knowledgeable our lore expert is. Right.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, either she's not even giving them notes or they're just not receiving her notes, and she's totally fine with just taking a paycheck and being the person that they put out front and say, we're following the lore. And she's just a Muppet, right? There's just a hand up here just doing this.
Take what I just sent you.
And taking pictures.
Take what I just sent you. This is everything Pips just said. I want you to read this woman's Twitter feed.
Okay. Update.
Here it is. Here it is. So I'm going to read this. This is from 2 days ago. Update. I'm now at a solid 2, a state of disassociation. This is what happens when you get a text from your boss at 9 p.m. on Friday that says, clear your week, you've been summoned. I'll be ramping up to a 4-ounce, latte. I've digested my task related to the Wheel of Time.
What the fuck?
She's a PR person. She's not a lore expert.
She's not a lore expert. She's a wife, a mommy, a Wheel of Time show and social consultant.
Ooh, that's actually, you know what? I'm glad you pulled this up because she that's mask off right there. She's literally saying now what her job was. She used to be lore expert, right?
Yep.
She was lore consultant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Social media consultant.
Hey, Mike, you want a link, bud? Let me know if you want a link, man. I don't know how much longer we'll be going, but let me know.
This tells you everything you need to know. A lot of corporations pissed a lot of money
in her eye
on social media consultants and social media presence. And it went on for a lot. We're talking a lot of money. And I had a friend who made a lot more money than I ever did, being someone that placed people like that because she was in the right place at the right time.
Yep.
Does this look like a person who we could sit down and talk about the books and what do you love about the books and why do you love about the books and have an honest, how about this? Not a barely 1/4 honest conversation about what Amazon did with the property. Because I'm not seeing it. Putting on your social media profile that you are a social, what is it? There it is. Wheel of Time show social consultant in Los Angeles. Everything is like Ema Joys and Twitter of Time, and
well, just the whole thing is like you've been it's like, yeah, well, go do your fucking job. Like, sorry, you've been summoned to go do your job, which should be you. Like, I don't know, like it just sounds like the whole thing sounds like I'm an ungrateful bitch. I'm supposed to be the Lord consultant. My boss has told me to come work, and I'm too good to come to work and help you write shit so it's accurate.
So listen to this one. This one, what is this? This is from February 13th on Valentine's Day. Go ahead.
I just want to put this down. Just so Sanderson, Sanderson was listed
executive
as sort
producer.
of right. So, and they like throwing his name around to say that he's been advising, but every time that anybody has asked him anything, he said something to the matter of fact that Pip said was he was only given like 3 scripts. And then I know he's been on record saying he didn't like what he did here, and they gave them notes, but most of the time they ignored the notes. He went right out and said what he would have done different with Perrin, which I didn't really agree what Sanderson would have done with Perrin, but still it was different.
He also didn't like what he did to Matt. He said that in the original interview, and I have receipts for all of that shit.
So they love throwing, especially because Sanderson is the biggest thing in fantasy right now. They love throwing his name around and trying to use that to bolster this shit that they're doing. But I don't really think that he has much input at all, if any, because it sounded like the last time I heard him talk about it, he was pretty frustrated. And then about the show, and then he doesn't really talk much about the show. I didn't really like what he had to say about Landfair either, but that's another whole stream. But that's I've sort of separated Sanderson. I had to partition Wheel of Time Sanderson off from Cosmere Sanderson because it's
hey, Mike,
that's not his baby. Cosmere's his baby. Wheel of Time was sort of his first love type deal, I guess. So. Mike, what's up, man? Haven't been on in a while. Saw you pop in the chat. I don't know how much longer we're going, but I said, hey, whatever.
Yeah,
man.
I was going down a rabbit hole.
Check your audio, Mike.
Check your audio.
You sound like you're on your laptop mic and not on your mic. Just want to give you a heads up. So
okay.
While Mike's doing that, I'm going to read this real quick. This is from the same person who supposedly is the Robert Jordan Wheel of Time expert. She said this on Valentine's Day. Said, the life I get to lead is wild. I sometimes will stop, shake my head like I'm trying to clear it, look around me and not believe it's for real. The fact I am sitting here somewhere in the UK after an incredible long work day with my family and doggy. So grateful. Twitter of Time. This is the person that is responsible for talking about what's great about Amazon's non-adaptation of Robert Jordan's world. In the fact that they put her in an article, and in my opinion, Pips, Steve, Mike, I don't know how you feel about it. In my opinion, utterly misrepresent this person's capacity and skill set.
Oh yeah,
pretty much reflects everything about this show. It's all a misdirection, an overstatement, an underperformance, an overcost, and it's not actually what they say it is.
And look, and I know there was a lot of promotion going on. I know there's stuff out there, Sanderson. That's why I don't really like to get into the Sanderson Wheel of Time show debate, because I know there's a lot of stuff, and we could speculate whether he's just being nice to try and get his shit adapted, or if he really likes it, or this, that, or the other. I really don't know the man. All I know is that I like the Cosmere, and I don't want to hate him in every fiber of my being because he likes the show. So I've sort of just decided to just I don't know, take it on good faith that he's just sort of playing the game, and that he's saying stuff, because there's a lot of double talk coming out of him now. I don't know. Maybe he does like Rafe. Maybe he does like the show. But you know what? I don't know.
Yeah,
I've come to a conclusion on how I kind of how I interpret what he says about the show is I think he's giving a very sort of like I said I answers, right? Like I think he's a very honest, he's a good person, and so I think that he's telling the truth. But I think the truth you hear from Sanderson is not necessarily the truth that you think you hear. And so like that quote that SB is saying he's going to go look for, about him saying that Rafe was a good guy or saying good things about him. I remember him saying something, might be the same quote, might be just another occurrence where he said something similar, but he's like, hey, Rafe and all the people at Amazon, the team at Amazon, they were good to work with. I had a good relationship with them. He's saying stuff like that, which like, yeah, you can make a little soundbite and it sounds like he's endorsing the show. And he's saying something that is true that he can say without lying. And not getting himself in hot water with all these studios that he's trying to shop his own books to and all this other stuff.
Bingo.
So we can sit here from the stands and be like, you should, cut off your nose to spite your face, and like you should burn down your own future and your IP with these all studios and adaptations because we don't have any money in the game, right? Like it's his family and his future, right? And I can't begrudge him.
Shitload of money.
You say that,
he's
Pips,
made
but
a shitload of money already.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Pips,
Mike.
You say that, but he also did some sort of a GoFundMe and made an amazing amount of money. If he wants to make his own series in a television series, he could put it up on one of these streaming platforms that you could kind of license out your stuff with. He could
only
do
if you're
that.
not blacklisted. Like,
yeah, but he could do that. But
right?
but to me, he's. And I don't want to say this on somebody else's
go.
channel.
Go ahead. No.
He's the Nazi sympathizer. He's the one that after we win the war, we're gonna have to gather him up and we're gonna shave his fucking head.
We didn't know you were going there.
We're gonna shave his fucking head, and he's gonna be that just like from Band of Brothers or whatever. You're just that woman who gets her head shaved off, and she's standing next to the road waiting for crackers. I have zero sympathy for this guy.
So it's not that. So I look, Mike. I'm like I feel that way when I start.
I warned you.
When I start. No. You're good, man. Look, man. You've seen my streams.
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine, dude. We're good. So I get, and that's why I try to avoid the subject of Sanderson in the TV show because my more personal opinions about what happened with Wheel of Time TV show and Brandon Sanderson will come to the surface when I see what happens with his shows and his shit from his stuff. If his shows and his shit gets destroyed in this fashion, then it's quite obvious he's just sold out and it doesn't matter. Because this is like I said before, this is not his, this is just he was given the keys to the kingdom and said finish this up, and it's gonna and he's drove that popularity from being able to do that to ultimate success, right? Making that Kickstarter, making $40 million. He could have started his own studio, but there's also the matter of fact of he is, whether you like it or not, whether you like Sanderson or not, he is the hottest fantasy author right now, bar none. I don't think there's any arguing that he's the number one fantasy author right now at this time.
Alive.
And I don't know, alive. Yeah, you're right. Tolkien and Robert Jordan, obviously. You don't know who's in his ear. You don't know who he's got next to him, and that could all be his fault. You don't know he's advising him. You don't know, it's like almost like a professional athlete with an agent going, "Hey, you know what? You need to be putting yourself out there so grow popularity."
I've said that very same thing to some people that I know personally, and you guys know the same person I'm thinking of. He's a published author. He's had meetings. We want to buy your stuff. We want to make television shows out of it, etc. And I said, well, take the money, like sell out. You have, you have your life. You have one life to live. Not like Wheel of Time. You don't get to reincarnate and come back again. You're not tied to the wheel. I said, just sell. Just honestly, if I'm in that position, I do the same thing. I collect the check. Because to me, I want to live the rest of my life in luxury. I want to have no problem sending my kids to good schools. Fine. If that's what it takes, I'd probably do that. I would like to think that I would live on principle and say, no, you guys can shove it up. Yeah. But I honestly think that I would honestly probably do the same thing.
Until you're there. Yeah. Go ahead, Salty.
Sorry. No, I think everybody's brought up some good points about this, and we'll jump to this to what Steve put in on the screen in a second. But I think Sanderson has a lot of money, and I think Sanderson has a lot of book cred. But as we all know, not a lot of people are reading. Not nearly as many did in the 80s or the 90s or the aughts. And I think Sanderson, it's really important to him that he gets to as close as to what I think all of us consider to be mastery, which is Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. I think his motivation now may be something akin to that. Now, again, I'm projecting on him. I'm not defending him. I've read every single one of your comments in chat, and I'm not going to say that I disagree. I think Pips is onto something, that he's been playing the game, and he has to play the game, because these are the winds. These are the way the winds of this idiotic destruction of Western civilization are blowing. Are they ever going to change? I don't know.
And you know
don't
what?
know.
And you know, and it's fun because I've been reading the chat too, and it's funny that it is very. I don't want to say polarizing, but man, there's so many differing opinions when it comes to Brandon Sanderson. And the best part about it is we can all talk about it and be civil about it here, because I don't know that we all agree. I don't know that we all disagree, but we can all talk about it and not be at each other's throats. Because it's one of those, when it comes down to it, for me, I know there's problems there. And I was angry. There's still points where I'm infuriated when I hear it's like, why would you even let them put your name on it? But then there's Mike's point of view, and you're playing. Is he playing the game? He wants his stuff published. Does he need money? He's got $40 million. Great. From his books. Well, maybe they offered him another $40 million for this, right? It's until you put yourself in those shoes, you have no idea what your decision would be when it comes to, I mean, it's like, oh man,
oh shit, Mike, oh my
well,
God.
Obviously we know how Mike, that was.
But I actually have another one that's brand new.
Ah, you son of a bitch! Mike is channeling his inner dragon. Man, you made that heart sunk. That's a good book you just tore up, man.
No, I know. I love
Holy
that was good, Mike.
shit.
That was good.
That was good.
You should not have told us that you had another one. You should have just been
that would have
been hard as fuck, Mike.
I got the next one here too.
That was sad. Have you read them, Mike?
Yeah. Okay, no, not all of them. I just through book 2.
Ooh, okay, because we're reading them, so we'll talk later because I'm starting the whole Cosmere thing. So awesome,
cool.
Go ahead, Pips.
Can I say one more thing?
And I'll bring this back.
I think Daniel there making a good point. The thing I wanted to say is that I think that we are not necessarily seeing the full thing, right? So we're like, hey, he made a bunch of money. He could do his own projects on his own, right? But the issue is, so we saw this with Harriet, with Red Eagle in the first place, where like Harriet got sued the bejesus out of her for saying bad things about Winter Dragon. And so the issue is that they probably got him on early in the project before there was anything going on. Probably when Sony and Amazon were making this stuff, they're like, we're only going to do this if Brandon Sanderson and Harriet's names are associated with this. Probably because it limits the PR liability for exactly this reason, that now their names are on there. They've signed some contracts. If he goes around and says anything that can be construed as harming the bottom line of the show and its profitability later, they can sue him for big time show studio profits. So like, hey, that $40 million that he made off of his GoFundMe campaign, that is gone. That is so gone. That is the start of what they go after you. If they can hang the collapse of an 8-season run show on you bad mouthing the show, and they will. These people are soulless. Right. They have teams of lawyers whose only job is to destroy people. And so I think that that's where like it's easy.
But you have to prove it's a lie. You have to prove it's a lie.
No, you don't. Civil litigation does not have some of the same stuff. And it's not slander. It's not libel. All you're doing is you're just proving damages. They can just say, look, we were going to make $1 billion and we ended up making none because Sanderson. And if you can convince a woke ass jury that he said some stuff, you get away with it.
That's
like, it's just
key. That's
the legal system is what it is. And it's just,
well, dragging his name through the mud and all that too.
I'm not willing to hate the guy when I don't know. I'm not in his shoes. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to give him some benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to waste my emotional energy on hating him.
And plus, before I move on to the super chat here, we know for a fact that YouTubers that were invited to London for the premiere all had to sign contracts that they wouldn't talk trash about the show. So that's a thing they did. So
you do know, and I know you know this. Sanderson is on the record as saying that he is under no such contract.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He said that last year. He doesn't have an NDA. He doesn't. He said
he's not under an NDA. Sure, but they can say, hey, you're.
But
allowed
he followed that up
though
with saying, I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say.
Sure.
negative or positive.
This is the classic thing, right? It's not cancel culture, or it's not cancel culture, it's consequence culture, right? They're like, yeah, you can say whatever you want. We'll sue the shit out of you if you do,
or
because
we'll block something.
Yeah.
We'll block production of something.
So we got a few. Let me get to this real quick. So no, good points, everybody. So so Daniel, $10 super chat. Thank you, buddy. They're rewriting Ronald Dahl's fucking books. We are not in the collect the check days. This is a fucking war. There is no time to play in the middle of the road. Sanderson is part of the problem.
That's fair. That's fair.
Here, I'm gonna
we are. We have been for a very, very long time.
Here you go. I like this. All right, there you go. Yeah. Shit, that was for you, Daniel. I know you were waiting for it. So thanks.
I'll get this off the screen. So what you're looking at here, this is in the Amazon Wheel of Time writers' room, which I'm sure is padded and should be in a psychiatric institution if we're honest about it. But look at them trolling us as fans. You can look over on the right side. There's a sign that says "Book Purists," and then essentially no changes, but they liked episode 4. I don't know anybody that liked episode 4 of Wheel of Time.
Sanderson said something like it is his favorite episode of the.
So do you guys think that's trolling of Sanderson in the writers' room? Because I don't know one person that thought episode 4 was good, because the bait and switch happened in 3. And then 4 went off the rails completely. And it never even pretended. I just think this is interesting because, again, this is from the same woman who is the supposed Wheel of Time expert, who's actually a social media influencer who doesn't seem to really.
This is the best memes they got. These are the memes that it's worse that these are the memes they put on the there are some like hilarious memes out there. This is what they put on their meme wall.
Yeah.
But left can't meme, man. Like this is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Like I mean, it's crazy, and they didn't even fill it up either. It's like you're having trouble finding. Or are these their own personal terrible memes?
Sure, there was a lot of ones that people who were especially sensitive within this very politically correct group found to be problematic. And these were the only ones they could agree on, because that's how that works.
So real quick, Silverlack for $4.99 was also bringing to our attention that Sanderson said he could say anything. He also said there that we all beat him to it. So
Pips is right. There's consequence. And we said this when the show first came out, before the show came out, actually. Brandon Sanderson in November said he didn't like that Perrin had a wife. He hoped the show wasn't going to be grimdark. I know because I did a video on that. And he also said that he didn't like the way Matt was written as well. So he said all those things. Now, again, I said it at the time that it was pretty inflammatory for somebody to be an executive producer on a show to come out and say that. Did he go far enough? No.
There's also talk about how he would submit things to them to do. You have to do this. You have to do that. And you really need to talk about this and talk about that. And then they just ignored it.
Yeah.
Well, he also, I think he was also on record that like he didn't see any of the finished products and he didn't see any of the scripts past the third one, right? So a lot of the comments that he made throughout the show were like sort of about the show making about working with Amazon Studios, about how people were nice, but he like didn't actually see the shows until he did his watches. And I think Silverlock brought up that his watch party with another YouTuber that we won't mention, for episode 8, that he apparently said some stuff. I didn't watch that episode, and I can imagine that maybe that would change my opinion of him. I think for me, I just don't want to waste the emotional energy really having thoughts about what Sanderson thinks about this series anymore, especially after his 10-year anniversary stream where he sort of revealed himself to, generally have a lot of ideas about the series that I think some of us wouldn't agree with, right? The whole like Land Fear Lives thing, like all this other shit. And you're just like, all right, dude, you're just a fan of the series like everybody else. Yeah. Your words don't hold any more power than anybody else. Right. I'm glad that they paid you money to put your name on this show. Good for you, but I don't care what you think about it anymore.
I think Tripp said it somewhere earlier too. Is like I think the finish of the Wheel of Time was good. I enjoyed it, but when it comes down to it, it was him using somebody's notes, adding a little bit here and there, and it wasn't his. He was just finishing somebody else's product, and the whole his opinions like that. We watched that. We watched most of it on the White Cloaks channel. We went over a lot of the 10th anniversary stuff about A Memory Light, and most of it I disagreed almost, especially the Lanfear thing. If anybody hasn't read all the books and doesn't know about Lanfear, you can earmuffs for a minute. But the Lanfear stuff is straight up bullshit, and it's sort of it's one of those sort of walking. Again, there's so many times I wish he would just be quiet about Wheel of Time, and that's why I've just had to sort of like do emotionally. I'm out. You know what? Thank you for finishing the books. I will read them and still enjoy them, but I really don't need your opinion on Wheel of Time anymore. Other than you're the guy that finished Robert George's story for him, and that's it. Because
you guys remember,
Go ahead.
Sorry, Steve. No.
I just as soon you start losing even more credit with me when you start spreading out bullshit like Perrin is too stupid to realize that he killed fucking Lanfear. And I'm sorry, she's dead. Stop with that bullshit. And it's like, and then you start worrying. Well, the other worries start. The other worry starts like, okay, why are we doing this? Are we now going to try and have somebody? Is this breadcrumbs to start up some other bullshit with new books? Like, are we trying that shit again? Where we're gonna all of a sudden have a deep in the future fucking what did Lanfear do now that she's alive? Are we gonna go back and have Age of Legend books? It's like, just stop.
Why not? Make it young adult fiction. Make sure there's adequate trans representation, and make sure that you have multiple diversity characters that have disabilities. Hit all those ESG scores. Why not? What's to stop them?
That's true. I want to address that real quick. What you said there, Prophet of the Dragon. Steve.
Yeah, man.
The only thing,
man, come on, you don't gotta be formal like that. You don't have to bow.
Mr. Lord Prophet of the Dragon.
You don't have to kiss my ring. Come on, man. It's okay, Mike.
Well, not anymore. You mean? No, but the thing is about Lanfear, right? About her being. I think she has to be alive, but because she is a historical figure in our own mythology. In other words, Selene, the moon goddess, she does exist in our ancient cultures. Mm-hmm. And so is there enough of Wheel of Time lore or even Age of Legends lore for her to have that much where we still know who she is? Or does she have to develop that in a later time period? So does that happen? Does she come back again? Is she tied to the wheel?
There's another possibility.
Is she going to? Okay, go ahead.
The name gets reused because the name existed in a prior age and little pieces of legends. So the name comes up again.
Right, but she uses that. Right, she uses that nickname or that other the alternative name, Selene. But the way she dresses as well, she dresses like the moon, and she has the silver and white and all that.
So I think we actually talked about this with some of the real world sort of religious stuff,
right,
where certain religions will borrow from each other, and you can point to like, hey, this like deity over here and this one back here in this ancient culture of a different one have a lot of similar attributes.
And that's the question. But that's the question I'm asking you, Pips. Is there enough within the Wheel of Time for them to use that name in the future, or did she get that from something that happened in the past that she remembers from history?
Well,
like, did she borrow, or did someone borrow from her?
She was already a mythical figure in the 3,000 years of the Third Age,
but not as Selene, but as her real name, right? And then Lanfear was the name she took when she went to the Dark. Selene was not one of those names. That was the name she gave kind of recently.
It could have been. That's why.
That's the only argument. Yeah. It's just that it.
Wouldn't
has
it be
come back.
cool? Wouldn't it be cool if the show only sucked half as much?
Yeah.
Because then, like you guys in talking about this lore and having theory crafting and going into the detail that you are, how much fun would it be to actually have an almost okay, pretty damn close adaptation of Robert Jordan's works with characters in story, where we could sit here and we could do this and we could be nitpicking assholes that just tore this thing into the redundant ground with what it should be, could be, whatever. And instead, we're sitting here, I'm listening to everybody on this panel and looking at your comments in chat going, why couldn't we have written this? Why couldn't we have provided any of the input? Why we as the customer, why were we not allowed to give our opinions on this because we love the story? You know, I mean, it's a rhetorical question, but it hurts my heart because
it's a good question, though.
We are so full of love for this. There's no hate here. There's no hate. It's defending. It's someone has come into our home in a place and come in and tried to violate a family member that we love. Now that, you know, and we're saying, don't do that. And it's wrong. And the reaction is, you're a racist, you're an incel. This wasn't made for you. Remember what Rafe Judkins said. Remember what Rafe Judkins said before this show came out. Wheel of Time on Amazon is not written for the hardcore book fans. It is not written for people who enjoy fantasy on a regular basis. It is not written for people who normally would watch a show like this. I'm paraphrasing, but that's 90% of what he said. The show is made for people who maybe would watch a fantasy show, but not all the way through, and have never read the books all the way through. So he made this show for nobody who would have watched this show.
What does it mean? What does being a fan mean?
It means you're a racist and an incel.
No. I mean, no. I'm asking not rhetorically. I really am curious. What does, if you're a fan of something, what does that typically mean?
It brings you enjoyment. You're
invested. You're emotionally invested. That you have
let's
an
say this.
understanding.
Let's say this also. If you are a fan of Robert Jordan, you like what he does. You like the way he does it. I mean, I don't understand how people could read The Wheel of Time and say, I love this series. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Robert Jordan. Let's literally change everything.
Yep.
How many people have you met? Anybody? Have you met anybody? Pips, have you met anybody who's read these books? In not maybe not the whole series, but 2 or 3 books. You know, maybe even 4 books. That went, you know what? You guys are being way too hard on poor old Rafe Judkins and Amazon. This was a good show. This was a good Wheel of Time. Have you seen anybody, Pips, like that? Really? Question.
I've only seen the opposite. But sorry.
But you know, to your point about who this show was made for, I have a lot of friends who are fans of this series, fans of the fantasy genre, fans of sort of, you know, old-fashioned, sort of, you know, outdated storytelling, you might say, archetypal characters.
Good. You mean good storytelling?
Yeah, good. Yeah, also known as good stuff. You know, people who like good stuff. We can just, you know, bottom line it.
Good.
And yeah, so you know, I don't know the people who this show was made for. So you know,
I can't get anyone to watch it in my family.
70%.
I know.
I want to show you this because I was leading the conversation to this. This is that Nakamura woman, the one who is the Wheel of Time expert and social media influencer. Here she is. This is from Dusty Wheel. We're not going to go long. I just want you to see this person and how they interact.
This is a dream come true. So, I mean, that is a great segue, right? Like, I think it feels a little bit like we're dreaming a bit.
I'm gonna barf, man.
Because this is that moment we've all been talking about for decades, right? Yeah. What is it? I mean, what does it mean to you? And maybe let's talk a little bit about that.
She looks like she's in a hostage video.
Are you excited for that aspect of it? Just seeing it, like, for example, for myself.
How can this guy sleep at night? This guy has a fucking YouTube
into the books quite
fucking.
Somebody take the Sharpie marker away from this woman.
But I'm excited for that moment.
She's not talking. She's just sitting there looking like a drag
in a hostage video. Like,
well, I mean, now they have to deal with this.
Imagination, and it was made bigger by reading books. And so I think I was about 13 years old when one of my big brothers opened the door of my bedroom and he threw Eye of the World, the hardcover.
I'm sure that's what happened.
He said he threw it to me, but I ducked. So he threw it at me, and he just sternly told me to read it. He was like, "Read it," and then just walked away. He was 17.
Like, that's just a lie.
14, and had already, developed.
I have questions. A lot of which are going to sound really insensitive. And I am 53 years old. I came from a time when women women didn't look like this. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. All right, like I don't know if that makes me really old, but I am confused. I am confused about the presentation of this, about this individual, the way they're presenting themselves, the way they're relating their story. If this is the face of Amazon's Wheel of Time, in some ways, you kind of understand how and why this show is where it is. Am I being unfair, Pips, or anybody in chat? Am I being unfair to this poor woman in Los Angeles who apparently buys her makeup at the Sherwin-Williams home painting store? I'm curious. I mean, am I wrong?
I mean, I've been cracking some jokes, but I will say that for me, ultimately the appearance is not actually the thing to me that I noticed about that. Like there's some funny jokes, but the real thing is, like I said, her posture, her sort of body language, like this is a person. Yeah, the eyes. Yeah. This is uncomfortable to watch to the point where like it was hard for me to actually really listen to what she was saying because I was made uncomfortable.
Pips, I try to avoid these videos, and then I come on here and you guys play.
This is Salty's fault, okay? Because
I didn't do this.
Like, so this is her okay. Oh my god, this is her origin story. All right, this is her origin story, and she's fucking lying. She is lying about this is I don't care. You know what? She is fucking lying. Okay, she is straight up lying about her fucking origin to the Wheel of Time. This is the fucking consultant, fucking social whatever. You can tell she's lying because she's stuttering when you guys asked me, I know exactly. My brother gave me the books because he I know exactly how I started the Wheel of Time. Your brother opened the door and threw the hardcover book at me, and I had to duck. Ha ha ha! It's like fuck off. No, that didn't happen. It didn't fucking happen. And you know what? Call me an asshole all you want, but what an asshole brother if that is how it happened. And why would you then read it if your brother threw a hardcover book at your fucking head? It's like what kind of weird I find it disingenuous. I find it to be hard to believe at best. And it's like this is the person that is supposed to be consulting on this shit. And you got this. I can't even. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. How dare him? How dare any of these fucking Wheel of Time channels and Dragon Mount and how dare fucking all of them? These are supposed to be the arbiters. These are supposed to be the fucking goddamn people that have loved this shit for their whole lives. They've dedicated their lives, servers, fucking money to running websites, to building these channels on this fucking story. And then you are the people sucking the dick of this asshole that freaking has just destroyed it. And you're it's so good. And how do you fucking sleep?
You could
How
say
do you
the same
sleep
thing
at night
about all those Tolkien experts and all those Tolkien YouTube sites. Is anybody going to remember what they did and what they took to say what they did about Rings of Power? Now, none of us know what's in anybody's heart, okay? Especially when it comes to Tolkien. But I think, Steve, you're onto something. And I think what you're onto is, what was the price of your very tissue-thin credibility to begin with? Do you know?
Yep.
Part of what Marxism does is that it goes in, and if they can't supplant the people who are in positions of power, they co-opt them. And it is done through a variety of ways. As we've learned here in the West, by our leaders, money will buy you whatever you want, because what does a nation state matter? But when you look, you could say the exact same thing to what's happening to intellectual properties. What is the cost to sell out on this stuff? No, it's a rhetorical question.
Well, it's just because I'm pretty sure if I, and we'd be here way too long, but I'm pretty sure I could ask anyone. I know you guys know that I know exactly when I started the Wheel of Time and how. I'm pretty sure you guys all know exactly how you started the Wheel of Time. Hell, we had a whole series on it. You talked to me and several others about how they got into the Wheel of Time, why it's important to them.
That's why I made it. It was a reaction to exactly what you said.
And I'm sure
we were seeing, in my opinion, lies. I mean,
that's what we just saw. I'm sorry.
Lies to manipulate us, and that's why I made the Wheel of the Wheel of Time.
Outlandish stories about to try and get a laugh out because your brother threw it. It's like, come on now, like just say you picked your brother liked the book and he gave it to you because he thought you might like it. It doesn't have to be some fucking goddamn comical event. Just say my brother read it and he wanted me to read it. Fine. Great. That's how most of us get into this shit. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say it doesn't translate the passion the brother had. You got to read this book. Damn it. It's amazing.
Oh, shit. I hit you in the ear. I hit you in the ear. You're bleeding out your ear. Oh, my God. You're dead. I killed you.
That's okay because this book is so amazing. You got to read it.
Yeah, I know you're right. I know you're right. But Mike, real quick, because we've been going for. Did you have something to say, Pips? Did I interrupt you? I don't want to.
No. You guys are saying such good stuff. I'm just like, yeah, all right.
So you weren't here at the beginning, Mike. So and anybody that's just getting here, because we've got 16 people in here finally. I don't know why this happens with every stream, but towards the time it's time to end, people start getting in here. So thank you for being here. We're going to share this first article again because Mike. How do you feel about them rebuilding Edmunds Field after raising it to the ground? Did you hear about this, Mike?
I did not hear about this, but this does not surprise me at all.
So Mike, this was what sort of
why build one when you could build two?
Well, no. They raised it, so that's the thing, and I think I broke Salty. But so the article states that not only after Moraine destroyed it. So there's a reason they raised it to the ground, right? They raised it because that's where they built the Blight. So they destroyed Edmunds Field on purpose to build the Blight set on Edmunds Field's corpse. Now, for season 3, they have to rebuild Edmunds Field, so they've taken down the Blight set again, and they're rebuilding from the ground fucking up Edmunds Field again.
Well, they only have the whole country to build sets in. So, like,
if only there were trees in Eastern Europe. That's the problem. They had to just make those shitty Wizard of Oz stage play trees. Yeah, show them the other stuff, Steve. Jesus.
Oh my God.
I just thought of something.
By the way, I'm officially wrong. Like. What's up, Pip?
The whole like global supply chain shortage and like the prices of lumber and stuff like that. It's not the Putin price hike. It's actually the Wheel of Time burning down and rebuilding sets.
Listen to this guy.
Using up all construction material. Mm-hmm. Amazon is single-handedly driving up the price of construction-grade lumber. And it's costing you. It's costing you. The housing market, it's due to Edmunds Field.
Lady Balefire, thanks for pulling that up. Says, I feel like we're not going to get season 3. They'll run out of money. Well, we talked about it earlier where a lot of the sunk cost was in the studio creation for season 1. And that's what a lot of people said in my comment section for season 1. Do I believe it? I don't know. But we certainly would explain why what we got on screen was substandard Drek.
And what I was saying, I'm officially wrong because I predicted right when they announced this was going to Amazon that there'd only be 2 seasons. They'd never make it to 3. So,
well, I think
if this is true, then I'm wrong.
Oh no, it's true. I mean, it's look, and that's I know there's a lot, like that's where that's where sort of the stream came about because I know there's a lot of we still don't have a season 2 release date because everybody's hoping that maybe
we never did that.
But we can end with that. We can end with that. But we always hope there's some hope out there that they're delaying season 2 because they might cancel it, and then there's still even more hope that even though they've said they're writing season 3, that season 2 is a mess. Maybe they won't get to season 3. They are committing enough money to build a small town in another fucking country. Season 3 is coming.
I have an idea. You guys hear me out on this. I can't support this. What if they're creating all these shells so they can reuse the same set in the Rings of Power?
Didn't they already? Isn't Shadar Lagoth in the Rings of Power?
I think so. I mean, I know they moved from New Zealand after screwing New Zealand, but
So I don't, it might not get to season 4. People have moved to Prague or wherever it is. They've uprooted everything. They got a studio there. Look at all this. This is millions of dollars of infrastructure right in this one place. They tore down an ugly Blight thing. Actually, it was a good thing they tore down the Blight Red Leaf, because that was the worst looking Blight imaginable. We were
thought that was all
commenting
CG. I thought it was shitty CG.
The surrounding area, we were commenting the surrounding area of this picture looks like a better Blight than the actual Blight we got. So, yeah. So it's one of those. I think, oh man, it's one of those. I gotta just hope they just fuck this up bad enough that season 4 doesn't happen. I don't know. What were you gonna say, Pips? I know I interrupted you again.
No, I was just reminding us that we said we were going to give all of our predictions for when season 2 is actually going to air.
This is brand new, Lady B. This just came out today. This is currently being built as we speak. So it's I'm sorry to be that guy. It's happening. It's happening. So
I mean, is there any indication who's going to watch season 2?
I
mean, other than all of us,
the incarcerated in Thailand. They got a captive audience there. Back in July, it was in Hollywood Reporter. They confirmed that Amazon's Wheel of Time has 3 seasons. That's been confirmed as of July. Okay. The question will be, is it going to get 3 or 4?
It's a brand new photo.
I'm going to say it again. This is not an adaptation of Robert Jordan's works, and it's not a bitch thing to say. This in no way is the story. These are not the characters. This is not the tone. This is not the world. This is stolen identity. It's counterfeit goods. And apparently Amazon just has a hard-on for doing this. You could say it's ESG. You could say that they're infiltrated by diversity, equity, and inclusion. The reasons to me are debatable. What to me I think is undebatable is that the show is and was how and why the Rings of Power became what it was. And this was the testing ground to do what they did to every single fantasy show that we got last year.
Yeah. So
let's look at more pictures. Let's stop looking at this. This hurts my
more pictures.
Heart.
Well, so I think because we're almost at 10, and I think Zach's is going live here soon, so I don't want to pop off on or pop over on him streaming, but I would like to see, like, so do you have a prediction for season 2 launch date, Pips?
Yeah. So I'm saying November. I'm saying that people who think that it's coming out, they've been saying spring, they've been saying summer, they've been saying, I think it's going to come out the same time that it did before. That Lady B and I have actually talked about this. November is kind of like it's after like the summer release season. It's sometimes where they just dump shit product. But
like
also,
Marvels, like the Marvels is getting dumped there.
Yeah. But also, it kind of makes sense to me from like the studio perspective that if Amazon's like, we want a like Thanksgiving, Christmas major fantasy release, because they consider these major fantasy releases every single year, and they're going to alternate Rings of Power and Wheel of Prime until they both get canceled. That's what I'm saying. Ooh. So I think it's coming out in November.
Wow.
Good one, Aldan.
So they're gonna so real quick, $10 from Aldan. It's a Rainbow Mafia fan fiction, guys. It is what it is. All hail the Lord Dragon. Hell yeah.
It is that. It is.
I also
we love the Wheel of Time, except for all the things we don't love about it.
True. I also just want to point out, I think I just saw House of the Dragon confirmed June or July 24 for their season 2. So you can see the difference between you can see the difference between a studio that is like confident in their product and like actually has a plan, and Amazon. So like, let's say that the most shilly shills are correct, and it's going to be this summer, a big summer release for Amazon. So House of the Dragon is telling us summer of next year, their release schedule, and Amazon is still keeping this one so close to the chest for like last minute fixes that they're not sure they have time to finish. They're still trying to put the lipstick on this pig. I think November.
They're putting the lipstick on Egwene's mole. not the pig.
Oh
I said what
my
I said.
God.
All right, fine. Fair.
Oh my God! Why does it always
It's
come
the
back
same.
to
It's
Egwene's
the same
Mall?
picture.
Oh shit! Do you have a prediction, Mr. Traveling Man? Do you have a prediction for season 2?
You know, I'm sure you guys will tell me. I try and block this out because I'm trying to live happy, joyous, and free. You know, not that I'm in recovery, but there are so many things in our entertainment that are incontrovertibly they're wrong and they're bad and they're not entertainment. They're reprogramming. And I'm coming up on 2 years with a YouTube channel, and I reached a kind of critical mass with I can't poison my soul with watching things just to hate them. That's why I walked away from The Last of Us after episode 3. I will watch this show, but again, my criteria will be to review this completely removed from the story. And I will say it over and over and over again. This is not an adaptation of The Wheel of Time. You know, we'll see if the story, just as a freestanding story, doesn't suck donkey balls, because every effing episode of season 1 was mediocre dreck. It made the Elfstones of Shannara, or the Shannara Chronicles on MTV, look like The Godfather. And I know, Mike, look like The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, every great cinematic experience. And it takes a lot to do that. So I don't know when this is coming out.
Mike,
I wish
any
it never
ideas?
would.
I think that's the number one thing. Mike, any guess? Any guess?
I don't have a guess. I'll agree
It's hard,
with
right?
Pips, because I think you probably put a lot more thought in it than I would ever have done.
Yeah, I agree. That makes a lot of sense.
The only thing, and I'll throw my 2 cents in here, because Lyle's in the chat says September. There's been the Gadfly agrees with November, and I think Pips is making a lot of sense with the November thing. I think it makes a lot of sense. But I did also see something interesting in the article saying that the Rosamund Pike, is it Rosamund? Excuse me, Rosamund.
Is she gender queer too? Is she gender queer just like Bella Ramsey now? I'm waiting for that announcement, because it's coming. Every show this year is going to have that. Just so this is the new thing. Climate change and gender queer.
Oh my God. Rosamund, I'm going to call her Rosamund Pike because that's her name. Rosamund Pike, the official worst thing to happen to the Wheel of Time TV show, besides for Rafe Judkins. I guess her version of The Dragon Reborn is coming out in June. So there is some speculation that they're going to try and release the show with the release of her audiobook to drum up some.
Are you?
I remember that
kidding
conspiracy.
Me?
Yeah, I think it's garbage. I think that the audiobooks are just releasing like every year.
I think just so I'm different than November, I'm going to throw my hat in the June pile, because we were all wrong. We were all wrong last year, because it's now well over a year since the first season came out.
They said March. They said it was going to be late March, early April when the first season came out. And ever since then, I haven't given a shit. I mean, like, whatever. You release it whenever you want. I'll make the videos. Doesn't matter. This is not Robert Jordan. It's not Wheel of Time. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I think her audiobook's out. Don't listen to it. I've heard a few people say she does okay. Why listen to? I don't know. I'm never gonna listen to it when I got Kate Riding and Michael Kramer. Why would I even bother?
Let Andy Serkis read it. Let Andy Serkis do a version of this. If you're going to modernize it for an updated audience, his version of The Hobbit, I never thought it could beat what we had in the 80s, and it is really, really good. So, Rosamund Pike, she's a decent actress. She looks great without any clothes on screen, but she's not Moiraine.
Mike hates Rosamund Pike. Well,
I do. Never liked her.
Look, she's okay. She's fine.
She was the worst thing about that Tom Cruise movie. I can't remember.
Jack Reacher. I thought you were talking about. She was the worst thing about Wheel of Time too. So she's 2 for 2. All right. Yeah, I agree, Daniel. Why would you listen to that version? And
interesting that you guys say about the pictures. So I have Wheel of Time. I have the World on Kindle, because I like to read. Where I don't have a book, and they changed the cover picture to her.
They did.
Design. Oh, yeah. So I originally had the original cover picture, and then I went to go read it the other day to go through it, because you could search for keywords. And boom,
they did it.
There she was.
I saw that too.
This is not what I purchased.
I forgot.
That's like them sneaking in and ripping the cup. Well, okay, don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to demonstrate.
I forgot she was in Doom too. That horrible movie. But I think Norporeal said when he bought Eye of the World, they sent her. Sorry, Norporeal. I think they sent him the new version too. I don't know if I'm quoting him wrong or not, but they're pushing the new versions of everything,
eBay.
just like the Lord of the Rings ones and all that.
eBay.
Yeah. Buy an eBay. Absolutely.
Go to your local small independent bookstore and go buy a used copy. Because even if the cover is ripped off and it's held together by packaging tape, it's more authentic than having an Amazon or Netflix logo on it.
Agreed, 100%. So
there's also local bookbinders that you can go find. Take that Amazon cover, rip that thing right off, take it in and have a nice little leather cover bound right on there by a true craftsperson. You can do that. You can do that.
There you go. That sounds good. That sounds a lot better than that crap. So
you could just put something that says the Holy Bible in black leather around the Eye of the World. That would be perfect.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I like that. So let's finish up because we're getting real close to 10 o'clock. So Salty, got anything going on here in the coming days here?
I don't know, maybe. Thanks for having me on. This is a lot of fun. I like talking about Wheel of Time. We have more to cover. And I would like to invite everybody on this to come and hang out on my channel to talk about some of the other news that we did not get to tonight. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Anytime, of course. Sorry, I don't know why this comment just got to me. Edmonds Field is in a field. It's not in the mountains. They can't even get that right. Yeah. Pips, what the White Clothes got going on? I know a lot.
We are continuing our reading of Lord of the Rings. Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a panel with a guest. So we have it on a guest star. Unfortunately, Amanda Manetheren, our co-host for these, he's out this week, so it'll just be the three White Cloaks and our kind of guest for the week. But still continuing with that. It's been a lot of fun. If you guys haven't read Lord of the Rings anytime recently, like for me, it had been a really long time, and it is so enjoyable. So I encourage you guys to read it, and if you want to read it with us, come check out our channel.
All right, Mike, OBG70, what you got anything going on, dude? I'm glad you got on, man. It's been a while.
Thanks for having me on. No, I do not have anything going on. Swim season has started up for the high schools again, so I'm now on notice as the chauffeur. So I am don't know. This week was Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know what it's going to be like next week, so I can't keep a schedule. It's just whenever I can get on or make a video or something. But check out my channel and throw a like. I've been playing some Hogwarts Legacy. Just
right on.
Kind of doing some game streams and stuff. Yeah, it's all right.
Cool.
I have a lot to say about it.
Good night, Whisker Fisherman. I'm glad you made the last two streams, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for your comments in chat. Seriously, it's not my show, but it's wonderful to hang out with people who love the source material. Yeah. And nobody was over the line. Nobody was sitting here being bombastic or pedantic at all. I mean, it's wonderful to see, because I don't Pips, nobody, Steve, Mike, nobody has the sole authority of what Robert Jordan is, these books are, how you should love it, why you should love it, or any of that. We're just four guys with four different sets of opinions. But seeing your guys' enthusiasm and love and your real emotion, everybody's, it's nice to touch that base again. You know what I mean? Because we are united by something that's good and beautiful. And it's being perverted by, I don't know what you guys in chat could come up with names. This is not an adaptation.
No.
Maybe we'll get one in the nuclear apocalypse. It'll be sock puppets, but it's not going to be an
yeah. So thanks. I will be working hard. My Cosmere script is recorded, so I'm going to be working on the Cosmere stuff. Mike, I'm going to start doing some Cosmere stuff on here. So I got a few people that are in my Discord starting Way of Kings. So with the lovely book you tore in two, thank goodness you had a brand new copy, because so I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about it. So we're going to start doing some Cosmere streams covering some of that, and some other things. I got an article I got to cover, so that's been sitting on an open tab for a while, so got to get that cranked out. So but thank you everybody for coming. It's always fun talking about Wheel of Time. I can't wait to get a trailer or a behind the scenes or something. We've had nothing for so long, and it's amazing that just this one little tiny crappy article that is so laughable about them building Edmonds Field 2.0. We were able to go on for 2 hours, and we probably could go on for another one if we got off on another topic. But it's awesome to talk Wheel of Time. I love talking to Wheel of Time. I wish that the notice went out a little bit earlier, so everybody that got here later could have been here earlier. But hopefully that fixes and YouTube gets their shit together. But thank you all for
it's Clown World Wheel of Time.
Never happened.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the super chats, Daniel, Lyle, Pips, for being here. Obviously, sorry I'm reading the chat, but Gadfly, as always, being here. SB, always showing up and participating in the chat. Tomitsu, cracking me up. Lady Balefire is going to be on with Zax, I think, here soon. So go check that out. And if I missed anybody, thank you for hanging out and participating. It's been a bunch of fun. And we will see y'all soon. All hail the Lord Dragon. Have a great one, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.